a Pete Primeau fan.
Thank you for having me.
Your fans are like...
What an honor to be here, Pete. You're a legend. You're a rock star.
I'm a legend in my own mind, said my wife.
If I can do it, anybody can do it.
I'm Mr. Selling from the Heart. What's this guy, Larry Levine, going to teach me about selling from the heart?
You are one of the most generous and authentic people around, and I think that's why you and your show are so attractive to people.
Welcome to the Pete Primeau Show. It is episode 234, and we are here with Doug Krinsky, the Director of Sales at 3Z's, and we're going to talk about how giving can help you increase sales. But before we do that, let's pay the bills very, very quickly. If you haven't bought my book, Sell a Million, what are you waiting for? If door turns are not the way you want them right now, this is a great book to get. It's a marketing book, not a sales book. If you want a sales book, I have a sales book for you. Miles and miles of retail selling greatness. It's not my book. It's my book plus Brent Batterman, plus Chris Tahaney, plus Steve Carnes, plus Mark Klingenberg, plus Scott Vaughn, plus Jeff Chinakovo, plus Justin Trumbo, Mel Opp, Randy Thompson, and Keith Gastonguy. So 10 other authors in here, and you basically have 3 years worth of sales meetings there. If you do a weekly sales meeting every Saturday, that book will give you 3 years worth of sales meetings. So what else? We have to thank the people that sponsor the show. Steve and Greg, thank you so much for sponsoring the show. If you have not joined the Mattress Industry Network group, what are you waiting for? Learn how to build, market, sell, and succeed in the mattress industry. And it's 100% free. It's a free Facebook group. If you want to learn how to build, market, sell, and succeed in the mattress business, place to be. You've got everybody from owners of manufacturers to store owners to retail salespeople. Just hit the scan me there and join the group. I believe, I'm guessing now, over 2,500 strong. So I remember Jeff Chinakovo yelling at me and going, Pete, why aren't you joining the group? I said, because that guy, that crazy guy, the guy with the gun, he's he runs that group. He goes, it's not that guy, it's another guy, and he's a great guy. And it was Steve Houck, who we've become very, very close in the last few years. So join the group. There are no crazies in the group, and the few that do come in probably exit fairly quickly. So absolutely join the group. And if you want to learn how to build your business, there is no better pound for pound retailer in this country right now. When you look at the population in Paducah, Kentucky, and Benton, Kentucky, and the volume that these guys do at Happy Z's, you're going to want to get his playbook. Took him 20 years to figure this stuff out, and it's in Nashville, Tennessee, one of my favorite towns in the whole world. Here's the best part. No Uber, no Lyft. Fly in, walk into the hotel, and there you are for the next 2 to 3 days. So if you want a discount, use this code, Pete, all caps, 2025 for $200 off. So it is a great class. I've been to all of them, and get Scott's playbook. I guarantee you it's going to help you. If you're a mattress retailer, you need to go to this class. And without a further ado, welcome to the show, my friend.
Pete, how are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad I've got a director of sales on my show.
Well, I'm glad you're happy. So, yes, I'm one of the directors of sales at 3Z Brands. So, yes.
Well, listen, wherever you are, you always make things happen. I've competed against you my whole career, and I tell you, you're a proverbial pain in my butt. And you're the only one other than Marcos who you train. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we've known each other a while.
Yeah. So tell me, how can giving help you increase your sales?
Well, before I jump into that, and I appreciate you having me on again. This is, I don't know how many years in a row, but I really appreciate it. But number one, I have both your books right on my shelf, right over there. And I am a huge fan of Steve Houck and his group on Facebook. I am a minor contributor there, and I love that group. And the training session down in Nashville, again, highly recommend that as well. So all your sponsors, love them all. Really interact with most of them, but all great people. So yeah, giving to increase sales. So I'm actually going to walk through a couple different things on my mind that help companies, including mine, improve sales. So just as a little background, about 25 years ago, we had 27 years ago, we had twin boys. 25 years ago, we noticed something was going on with one of our sons, and eventually 2 years later got the diagnosis of autism. So my wife and I, Kelly and I, decided we're going to start a 501c3. Pete, I know you and I have talked about this before, but I've been very fortunate to be in the home furnishings business. My son will never need anything. I've been very fortunate, worked for 4 great companies, one being the current one, but he won't hurt for anything. So I decided I'm going to start giving back. And so we started our 501c3. And for the last, this will be our 17th year. What we have done is done a poker event in Las Vegas during the Vegas furniture market. So this year it'll be this coming Saturday, July 26th. Registration starts at 5:30. So we'll have a poker event Saturday night. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But the reason I did it is I wanted to give back. And what's happened over the years is I've acquired probably close to 40 different sponsors for the event. And most of them are very engaged in their communities. Companies like mine, which is 3Z Brands, they do many things to give back to the community. There's one of our brands called Lisa. Lisa does a tremendous job at giving back. They do several different things. Number one, they give back. They've given back, I think it's over 40,000 mattresses back to several homeless shelters, different, community homes that need beds for various groups, various entities. And as Chris is scrolling down through there, you'll see all the different groups that we give to, but it's our way of really engaging in the community, helping the community. And I think from, a local retailer all the way up to big national manufacturers like us, we think it's important. I know most of the dealers I do business with are very involved, like yours, Pete, in the community. And I know they don't just do it just to get sales out of it. They do it because it's the right thing to do. And when you do the right thing, it comes back in spades. You get people that love your company, that want to do business with your company. And I've been doing this, for 17 years in my poker event. But really the last 2 companies I've worked for, Restonic, they were very engaged to help me with my event. And now 3Z Brands is very engaged, not only as a supporter and a sponsor of my event, but really as a company. So Lisa does several things. We also recycle plastic through an organization, but 3Z Brands gives back to many, many, many other groups, individuals, organizations to help the communities that they're involved in. So, we have a lot of different brands at 3Z, whether it's Helix or Lisa or NOLA, Bear, Birch, I can go on and on. But what we do, from John Merwin, our CEO, on down, is we do want to be involved in the communities that we interact with. They help me with my event. They're big sponsors. They're my final table sponsor, and I really appreciate that. But, even dealers that, you and I both know, like Kokonis Furniture in Zanesville, They have their own community endowment fund. They get involved in things like Red Cross, Goodwill, breast cancer, screening, those kinds of things. And, when the community members go to their, Goodwill event or their Red Cross event or get screened for breast cancer, they really appreciate companies, in this example, Kokonis, providing those services or the opportunity, to get support from those organizations. And I truly believe in my heart of hearts that the consumers appreciate that. And then when they're ready to buy furniture and or mattresses, they will go to those groups and they will buy from them. I mean, I've seen it firsthand at private sales at Kokonis Furniture. I used to see it at Dewey Furniture when I would go there. They like what those retail organizations do in the community. And quite frankly, they want to partner with them. So when they need those products, they'll go to those, organizations and do that. The shirt I happen to be wearing, I don't know if I can raise it high enough, but it's Furniture First. They're a great buying group. They did a golf outing at their symposium, their annual convention, and donated half the proceeds to St. Jude's, which I also give to personally. They're one of our charitable groups that Kelly and I believe in. And then they also gave the other half to the Anti for Autism poker event. So Furniture First, another great organization, great members of their buying group. They're very engaged in the community of which they operate. They help support the local communities, but they also do things nationally, like our Anti for Autism poker event. So, whether it's us as a manufacturer, my wife and I, Pete, you and Jenny are sponsors of my poker tournament. I know you do a lot of other things as well, but, it's, you also have a personal connection to the autism piece, like we do. And you just think it's the right thing to do. We think it's the right thing to do. And, I support other, like St. Jude's, I support other charities. There's plenty of them out there. Everybody has their causes. Everybody has their charities. And, as many as we can support, Kelly and I will do that. I know you and Jenny are the same way. So, I truly believe that, giving back and helping support, charities as part of your business is a great thing to do. And it does come back to you many times over, with the consumers that you help support or the communities that you help. So that's kind of why we started it, why we continue to do it. Chris has up there the 5 charities we're supporting this year. Every year coming out of the event, the proceeds of the event, we divide it. We don't do any direct services for any families that are impacted by autism, but we search high and low for organizations that do great work to help support these families, whether it's, kids that need speech therapy or parents that need to go to a convention to learn about therapies or whatever it happens to be. I have co-hosts that help me with the event. We find different charities each year, and out of those proceeds of the event, we divide it amongst those 5 charities and give them money to help support their programs. So that's kind of a quick synopsis of what we do, why we do it, and how we do it.
One of the things that I was a little concerned about years ago is when we got sold to Stu Carlitz, and I had heard some rumors about how aggressive of a business guy he is. This guy's got a heart of gold. He's always deeply involved in this event and many, many other charities. But this one, I always see Stu's hand is in there and given in a big way. Trent Randberger says 100% without the community, we aren't in business. Loving the 3Z brands from Sutherland.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to appreciate that. And, there's another chime in on, it's amazing how much autism touches all of us. If you don't exactly know somebody with autism, you probably know somebody that knows somebody or has a son or a daughter. Our son happens to be 27 now. He's coming out to Vegas with me. So he's going to be at the poker tournament again. But just about everybody I know, once they see my, wristband, Annie for Autism, or they hear me talking about it, they say, oh, well, my neighbor has a granddaughter on the spectrum. Or it's amazing how much, people are touched by autism today. 1 in 31 kids that are born today will end up on the autism spectrum. And, we continue to try and research why that happens, why it continues to increase. But honestly, we need to worry about also those families and getting those kids the services and the therapy they need. And my son's an adult. We need adult services. So, my son happens to be able to work. He has 2 part-time jobs, but, for the folks that, need that help, we want to be there through our charities that we support to help them. So it touches a ton of people. And, going back to Stu is one of the best guys out there, hands down. He and his organization, Bedding Industries of America, is our presenting sponsor this year. They give us $25,000 the last few years as our presenting sponsor. In addition to that, Eclipse, one of the brands within BIA, is running a special promotion, I believe through the end of October, on a special bed, 120th anniversary bed through Eclipse. I think Matt put that together with Stu, that they're giving some of the proceeds of the sales of those mattresses back to Anti for Autism. Our 501c3 is called Beat Autism Now. And that's, one of the events we do is the Anti for Autism poker event. But Matt put up that promotion, and I've been promoting that in all the press releases. And, the Bedding Industries of America group, from, Stu to Phil and Jared and the entire group. I know Steve Carnes for a long time. He and I are old CERTA guys, like you and I are old CERTA guys. And I just saw Steve last week, and we were talking about the poker tournament coming up. And, Steve actually in the silent auction bought a trip last year, and he was telling me how excited he and his wife are about going on the trip. So, we have silent auction things. We have the poker event going on. You can just go to our website and donate. But, it all goes back to these different charities that help support kids and adults on the spectrum, their families. So whether you buy a silent auction, like, Chris is scrolling through all the different trips that we have available. We also I have a good friend of mine that has, you'll get a kick out of this, Pete, but he has Browns season tickets. So he gave me the Packers versus Browns, September 21st. He has seats right next to the dog pound. So he donated those to me. So if you're interested in that, you can come to the event and bid on that. Or quite frankly, you could email me and buy them right now if you wanted to. But great seats. And if you're a Browns or a Packers fan, absolutely go bid on that. I would warn you, if you're a Packers fan, I would not wear your gear and sit in those seats, but you can do whatever you want. But that's my warning to you. But great seats. Carl Hennon, good friend of mine for a long time. He donated those this year, and thank him for that. But again, that was just a July 4th conversation over a beer. And Carl goes, you know what? I'd like to give you a couple of tickets and auction them off. I said, that's fantastic. So I threw those in a press release a couple of weeks ago. They're up on the website. They will be at the poker tournament this Saturday to bid on. And just, things like that just come around. They just, over the years, I've just acquired, various things for the silent auction. And every year, some people give them every year, and it's great. So that's, again, my story and kind of what we do and kind of how we do it. But we're really looking forward to this Saturday. So big event.
Chris, can you pull RJ's comment up there again? This is RJ at Jacksonville Beddin. As a father to an autistic daughter, I can't thank you enough for all you do to bring, here we go, Chris. We knew this was going to happen, to bring much needed attention to autism awareness. This is such a great event that is full of fun, community, and purpose. I encourage anyone attending on Saturday to get involved. Even if you're not playing, consider placing a bid on the amazing silent auction items. Great point. Thanks, RJ. We appreciate it. Every dollar raised supports meaningful causes and truly makes a difference. Thanks, RJ.
RJ, I mean, that's a very special message. Thank you. It's, yeah, that says it all right there.
Hold on. I'm getting ready to fight. Put that comment back up there. Janakovo, really? You come on my show and you mock me out. You think I'm going to take this from you? Browns tickets. Donations are supposed to make money for the organization, not cost it. Just kidding. What a great donation. Yeah. I almost said myself, if you're really a hardcore Browns fan, maybe an ice pack, or maybe just like all you can drink beers. Fly, Eagles, fly. Yeah. Jeff, I've always supported you when you were down, but You kick me when I'm down. I don't know about this relationship. We'll have to talk about this on Saturday or Sunday. Thanks, Jeff. All kidding aside, appreciate you and appreciate everything. So, guys, I have Chris Stone. You are going to be the referee on this one. So get ready. I have a dinner that I cannot get out of on Saturday. So I have a ticket. I have a ticket that I need to give to somebody. Don't take the ticket unless you're going to actually go and play in the game. And if you do, I promise you, you will never not do it again, because everybody I've ever given a ticket to always buys their own ticket and always goes. So it's a great event. And all you have to do is say something stupid. Let's make it, I love Pete. I love Pete. I want the ticket. How about that? Chris, you're the referee. You tell me if somebody claims it, and away we go. So, dude, you've got some star power here with this.
You know, again, over the years, we've been very fortunate. So this year we have a very, very special guest, kind of out of the blue. Abigail Bachman, who just recently became Miss Nevada 2025, emails me just out of the blue and says, Doug, I want to come to your event. I want to help you with what you're doing. She has an organization she's the executive director of called Miss Amazing. So she helps run a group that helps young girls and women with disabilities, autism being included. So they have a separate organization, but she has heard about our group. She went to Touro University. Touro was one of the groups we donated to because they have an autism area within the university. So one thing led to another. So in talking to her, she got permission, get this, from the Miss America pageant to be able to play in the event.
Yeah.
So she wasn't sure if she could, but she is coming this Saturday to play. So I'm so looking forward to meeting Abby and hearing all about what she's doing to really help these young women with their disabilities, whether it's get jobs, get therapy, whatever it is. Again, another great organization. But there actually is many Miss Amazings across the country. So again, the more I learn about it, the more I'll sort of spread the word about what they do. But she couldn't be more excited to be there. On top of that, got some athletes coming. So Jose and Ozzy Canseco, who former MLB baseball players, they will be coming back again. Jose is a riot when you talk to him. And his twin brother, identical twin brother, Ozzy, are both coming again this year. They both came last year, and they've come many years. So they are both coming again this year. Chip and Karina Jett, they call them the first couple of poker in Vegas because Chip plays in all the tournaments. Karina doesn't play in as many anymore. She's also involved in real estate. But all of them will be there. I also just announced late last night, early this morning, that Norman Chad from the World Series of Poker, he's a big broadcaster, has been doing it for years and years and years, and has also played in the World Series of Poker. Great guy, great personality, unique personality. He will be there as well. So we'll look forward to see Norm, Jose, Ozzy, Chip, Karina, and there's more to come. Karina, one of my co-hosts, is based in Vegas, and she's working on some other folks. Can't name drop yet, but she has some other ones coming. We just need to confirm. So later this week, I'm sure I'll have several more press releases on that. But we're really looking forward to having Abby there. I'm sure she'll want to say a few words about everything she's doing and how much she wants to encourage you to help folks with disabilities, autism being our event. But there's other folks that need help as well. So, yep, very fortunate, knock on my hardwood here that we continue to get great people to come. Over the years, Chris just had up there some of the folks we've had before. Unfortunately, there'll be one that won't make it this year that has been almost every year since we've moved to where we're at today. But a gentleman named Kevin Major Howard, who was a famous actor. Unfortunately, he passed away this year. So he will not be there, but he's one of the ones that you'll probably see as he's flashing across there. Great guy, tremendous supporter of our event. There he is right there. So Kevin unfortunately passed away, but a lot of these other folks, the poker players, will be there. Some real big names. We've even had, I think, the World Series of Poker winner this year, the grinder they call him. Michael won this year, and I'm not sure he's going to be there, but he did a great job and won it all this year. So hopefully we'll have some of these folks, back again. So, yep. Very fortunate.
Awesome. And one of the things we talked about this on a phone call, one of the common things that I hear, it's like you're next to somebody on a table, you don't really know who they are. And then you find out like they're this, really, really famous person, and they're just as nice as can be. And so sometimes, we put people on pedestals and, not that we shouldn't do that, but give yourself a little bit of credit and have fun. And you're going to literally be able to rub elbows with some real big shots who don't consider themselves big shots, who are just as humble as could be. And the more famous people you get to know in your life, the more you'll find that to be true. And by the way, we've got a winner, Anthony Klatt. Congratulations, brother. That you've got it. And I love you too, Anthony. I follow you. I watch what you do. You are a positive force in our industry. Couldn't be happier that you won this. So congratulations, Anthony, and have a blast, man. It'll be great.
Well, Anthony, I will put you down for Pete's entry for the tournament, and I'll make sure I get you on a good table. Maybe I'll even put you on Stu's table as a special entry onto the presenting sponsors table. So congratulations. That's great.
We're glad you're excited. He does bring the party. His table will be great. Anthony is a force of nature. When he walks into a room, it. It's a great thing.
Well, don't be too overbearing because Miss Nevada's on that table already. So we don't want to irritate Abby too much. But anyway, that's great. And I forget who just put a little something up there, but just to talk about the event for just a second. Sure. So the event, when I kind of kick it off at 6:30, so registration's at 5:30. We sort of kick it off around 6:30, depending on if everybody's at their seats or whatever. But when I start talking, I talk about the cause, but I'm really not, as I always say, I'm not heavy on the cause. I enlighten people about what the cause is, why we do it, but really the night is about having fun. And we want you to have fun. And oh, by the way, the autism charities benefit because of that fun. So, really the more we offer rebuys and add-ons to your poker chip pile. So if you want a big pile stack of chips, we allow you to buy up your chip stack. And then if you happen to bust out, we actually, allow you to buy back in for the first hour. So every single penny of those rebuys and add-ons goes directly to the charities. So, it's a fun night. You can see everybody smiling and all these pictures. Chris is popping up there. There's Randy Couture. I mean, all these celebrities are so nice to all the players and even the spectators that come to have fun and watch. I mean, I have never, ever heard a negative comment about any of them. They'll take pictures with you. The only thing I ask is if they're involved in a hand, please don't interrupt their hand. They're trying to win. So it's kind of funny how some people are like, should I go talk to him now? I'm like, hang on a minute, let them finish. And then when they're finished, they'll stand up, take a picture, big old smile. Jose is great with that. Randy Couture is great with that. Piazzadora, all the we've been very fortunate. All these celebrities have been fantastic for our players and spectators. So please, come get a picture, hang out with them, talk to them. But you're right. They put their pants on the same way we do. They sort of acknowledge that. I'm just, like Jose is a big guy. He's an intimidating guy. But, Randy Couture, former, MMA, UFC heavyweight champion fighter, is the nicest guy in the world. I'd never want to be in a ring with him, but he couldn't be nicer to you. And one of the first nights at Golden Nugget when he came, his buddy, who was also playing, got to the final table. So it was Randy Couture and I and a couple other people at 3:00 in the morning, just talking about life. And it was like, this is kind of the most surreal, weird conversations I've ever had. But, he's just the nicest, most down to earth guy. And they're all that way. So don't hesitate to ask him for a picture. If you want him to autograph something, that's fine. There's Jose with John Merwin and Mike McQuiston. I mean, all great guys. Just happy to have them there. So, yep.
Awesome. I'm stoked for Anthony. So listen, I'm glad that you're excited, Anthony. I am actually stoked. So I want to dive into this just a little bit. So, the question at the beginning of the show is how giving can help you increase sales. And this is really fundamental to selling. There's going to come a time in your sales career where it's a tough sell, and it doesn't matter if it's retail or wholesale. And you're going to have to dig down, and you're going to have to either get really creative, or you're going to miss the sale. And you have to dig deep, and that takes effort. And you have to believe in yourself. And so where I'm going with this, given fills your cup of belief about the most important product you're ever going to sell. And that most important product you're ever going to sell is you. It's not that white or black or gray rectangle. It's you. It's you. They're buying you. You're the one who's going to help them select the right mattress. You're the one who, God forbid, if something goes wrong, you're going to be the one who makes sure they get taken care of appropriately, whether that means you run headlong into a wall at a manufacturer or headlong into a wall with your retail sales management. You're going to be the champion that fights for this customer. And we all sell better when we feel good about ourselves. And let me tell you something, nothing feels better than giving. And if you haven't tried it, you've got to do it. And the real title of this show was Charitable Giving. There's a bigger magic in charitable giving when there's nothing in it for you other than you feel good because you know you've done good for somebody who needs help and you're blessed. It makes you feel like Superman with a cape on. And that's the way you need to be when you're selling. Sorry to hog the show. You think it was the Pete Primeau show, Doug?
I think we know. Yes. Yeah. I again, selling with confidence, but yeah, I mean, when you boil it right down, it's so true. It was interesting that Chris put up the one picture from one of the checks that I took up and donated at Youngstown State University. Again, you'll get a kick out of this. I know we've talked about this before, but Jim Tressel was the president of Youngstown State for a while. He's now lieutenant governor here in Ohio. But, in talking to Tress, he and again, he wants me to call him Tress. So, okay, I'll call you Tress, governor. But anyway, when you talk to him, he is about giving back. He's a big giver backer, so to speak, but he gives back. I know he just started up a group within the government. You got a couple former Ohio State athletes involved about helping younger kids learn how to read better, whatever it is. But, he brings to the table, the charitable piece. As successful he's been, national championship, with Ohio State and Youngstown State. He's done it all. He's still giving back and still appreciates. I'll tell you a funny story. So I was in Vegas just personally one time with my wife and another couple. We were at Caesars of all places and ran right in to Tress and his wife. Just a freak accident. We ran into him. And I said, Tress, what are you doing? And he was going to one of his former players' inductions into the College Football Hall of Fame. And he just flew out there, his own penny. He and his wife went out there. and, said hello to Ellen. They said, just keep doing your thing for Youngstown State, giving them money, but it's all about giving back. Here he is 20 years after. It was Mike Doss. I don't know if you remember him or not, but he was a defensive back, and now he's in the College Hall of Fame. And again, he's very supportive of his former players, charitable, and just wants to give back. And again, he's made millions. So, in his heart of hearts, and I know I've heard all kinds of stories about what kind of a coach he and his dad were, which they were grinders as well. And they were tough guys. And you wouldn't think from their exterior, persona that they are, but they were as tough as it gets. And I know that as a former football player, that, these guys are tough guys, but they have huge hearts and they feel good about giving back, right thing to do. And that was just, another example of a big guy puts his pants on just like I do. Yeah. And he wants to give back, and he does. So, when I talk to dealers about, and I try not to be, again, I really don't try to bring up, what I do for charity, but it comes up sometimes that they've read a Facebook post that I've done, or they see a press release, and I will give, Alex and Sheila and Russ, all these guys in the industry, that Furniture World, Furniture Today, Bedtimes, all these groups have given us tremendous press releases and articles about what we do. So people just read about it. And since I'm the founder of the group, okay, Doug, tell me about, I saw this press release on this. What are you doing? So, people inquire, and I tell them it's our way of giving back. But here's why I give back is, all the stuff we've talked about before, but it's just the right thing to do. And for me, it happens to be autism, and, whether it's cancer or whether it's St. Jude's or whatever it happens to be, there's a million different causes. Get involved. And I'll tell you another fun story. I don't know if you remember who Dave Fogler is, but Dave used to be an executive at a May department stores division in Akron, Ohio. And I came in as a little assistant buyer in mattresses, and I got to know Dave. And then I went out to a branch store, and Dave ripped me because I did something wrong. But then I hired Dave as a rep at CERTA. He was a tremendous rep. He wanted to change. He wanted to get out of department stores. And Dave is the first guy every year to donate to the, as soon as I do the first press release, we're starting it up, we're doing it again. Dave is the first guy to donate back every year to Anti for Autism. Again, it's Dave wants to support what I do. He knew when he was at CERTA, he did it then. He does it now, and he still does it, even though, we're just casual, friends still. It's, again, one little way of him giving back, and he does other things too. But in his heart of hearts, he wants to help me help these families, and he knows it's good for business. He did it at CERTA. Groups like Kittles, Bob Colin, God rest his soul, rest in peace, Bob, has passed away, but Bob was a big supporter. He came to the poker event. I've talked to Eric Easter about it. So everybody sort of hears about it, and Kittles does great things in their community. So all these retailers I talk to, they find their causes, they find their community and how they want to engage them with the community. And, business is business, but it's good business to do things for the community. So, I kind of ramble there a little bit, but they are so intertwined and interlinked that it's tough to separate them.
Yeah. I can't let the comment with Trussell go without mentioning that I was lucky and blessed to have played for his father for 2 years, and at an event, it was a few years ago at BW. And after he spoke, I went up and I tried to introduce myself to him, and he wouldn't let me. He goes, "Pete, I know who you are." He goes, "My dad never stopped talking about you. My mom never stopped talking about you." And talk about down to earth.
Yep.
To know his parents is to truly understand him. Special.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, I can see you're emotional over it, but, again, you played football for his dad, and the whole family, whether it's, the other son, whatever, they're just into it, and they're into their players. And again, that's the first occasion I think I had to meet Coach Tressel. And, that's what I called him. That's how I knew him, was Coach Tressel. I really appreciate what you do for the Rich Center at Youngstown State. And he goes, don't thank me. I'm thanking you for what you did, because they do need money. And, what your event does helps these little kids. And their program has grown over the years. And, I got to know, again, another football connection, the Kozars, Bernie Kozar's parents. I got to meet them. They're the founders of the Rich Center, excuse me, at Youngstown State. And I was up there a couple of years ago, talked to his parents again, and just, I think it's Bernie Kozar Sr., and, just great guy, and his mom's great, lady. They're still supporting the university like I am. And, I can't say enough about what they do up there and all the other charities that we support. They do great work. I wish I could give them more money, but what money I can give them, they put to good use. And I love seeing that.
Awesome. Jeff Janakovo, $250 donation made, as I can't be at the event. Maybe late after dinner if the tournament is still running. While Eagle fans like to talk smack, we also have big hearts. That's true. Again, love all you're doing. Our neighbor's son has autism. He is great. They are great. Yeah,
Jeff, I'll tell you another story. You may or may not even realize this. You probably do. But the owner or the owner's family of the Eagles are huge supporters of the autism cause. Right behind maybe both goalposts, but they have their Autism Foundation listed there. And I know that former player Jason Kelsey was involved in that foundation, but I believe his name is Jeff. I forget the owner's name, but I think he has a son with autism, and they are huge supporters. There you go. Chris, you're quick as a whistle. So they are huge in again, one of their causes is this Autism Foundation. So, as much as I hate to tell you this, I'm a Cowboys fan. I love what the Eagles do. I don't like that they win Super Bowls, but I like what they do from a charity standpoint. But great group. I wish I could think of the owner's name. I think it's Jeff. Gosh, I can't think of it. Jeff Lord. There you go. So thank you, Chris. You're on it. So Jeff and Jeff, thank you. We'll be there till probably about midnight. So if you want to come by after dinner, we'll probably still be there. But we definitely try and get it done by 11:30, 12 o'clock, because you know what? Some of us have to work the next day. So thank you for that comment, Jeff. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Doug, any team but the Cowboys. Yeah, that's but thank you, Jeff. That was very generous of you to make that donation right now while we're doing the show. Appreciate that, and appreciate you being here, brother. So that'll make up for the other stuff you pulled earlier. So what else? What else should we talk about, brother?
Well, let's talk again, if we can, about the tournament itself.
Yeah.
So this Saturday, it's at a place called South Point Hotel and Casino. If you look at the press releases that are on our website, Ante for Autism, it's ANTE, autism.com. We also have a special rate. If you need a place to stay in Vegas, they give us a special rate. It's a really good rate. So it's in the press releases. Almost every single one of them has the rate. But the registration opens at 5:30. So if you're going on a sponsor entry like Anthony is, you can get there as early as 5:30, check in, get your seat assignment for your table. Excuse me. And then by 6:30, most of the people are there. They've registered. They're by their table. So what I do is I'll kind of kick things off, and I will introduce the major celebrities. Then what I will do is go through thanking all of the major sponsors. And most of them, the bigger ones, I will hand them. What I give them is a really nice plaque, has their name on it. We take a picture. And then I throw it to South Point after my son with autism, Michael, says, let's shuffle up and deal. My son, Michael, looks at it as his event. He is the superstar for that event, and I'm more than happy to accommodate whatever he wants to do. So after we sort of kick it off, then South Point runs with the ball. I have nothing to do with the tournament. They do run it by whatever regulations you have to run by in Nevada. And then my co-host, Karina Jett, takes it from there. She gets the microphone and she's a talker. So what she will do is kind of go table to table, almost like a wedding reception. She will introduce and talk to all the celebrities that are there. And again, she will encourage you, if you want a picture, if you want to talk to them during a break or when they're not involved in a hand, feel free to do that. So for the first hour, we'll start at about 7 o'clock until about 8 o'clock. We will allow what we call rebuys and add-ons. So if you happen to get blown out and somebody takes you out, like Mike Matazel right there or Randy Couture right there, and they take you out of the tournament, you can actually rebuy back in for only $100. If you want to add to your stack, if you're below a starting stack level, for $100, you can jump right back in and get your chips back in and keep playing. So after about 8 o'clock, what we then do is it's kind of game on after that. And then it becomes a real tournament. So then whoever's still in, you go. You can't rebuy back in. You can't add on to your stack. And then we go. So we get down to a final table of 9 players. The final 9 players, all of them win money. So the winner will win probably $4,000 to $5,000, and then it kind of gets tiered back from there. My company, 3Z Brands, is the final table sponsor. There's $15,000 up for bids with that final table. And I will be honest with you, probably most of the people that win money give back some of that money to the charity. I don't ask them to, but again, out of the kindness of their heart, a lot of them give back a bunch of their money. They want it to go to the charities. So, and really, we appreciate that. Again, I don't encourage it, but if they want to, they give their winning chips back to us. And obviously those go right to the charity as well. So the event, opens up at 5:30. We kick it off around 6:30. We start around 7. The real tournament starts around 8. And then generally by 11 to 12 for sure, we are done. I have told them to accelerate the blinds and the antes so that, we are done and we can have at least some sleep before we start off on Sunday at work. So 1 million pictures that Chris is showing up from last year's event. We do have a silent auction. We have travel trips, Browns tickets. We have a host of things there. They're silent auctioned off. Some are donated. Some are just, we get a percentage of the proceeds. Dave Perry, I see there. Dave will be back this year. You see Stu there and his wife. Again, just great people. So don't hesitate to just come and just hang out. There's no charge to get in the area. It's called the Grand View Lounge next to the poker room at South Point. And I'll throw out a little shout out to South Point. South Point does a fantastic job for us at the event. They have a separate room they set aside for us. We can put 160 people in there. We can also overflow into the main poker room, which we have done, and they will accommodate that. So there is really no limit to the number of players we can have. They have probably one of the best poker rooms from what I hear from the poker players in the city. It is a huge poker room. There's probably seats for, maybe 800 to 900 poker players at any given time. So we can sort of bleed over into the main poker area if we need to, which I hope we do. I hope we do have more than 160 players this year. The dealers are great. They do a great job. If you come, everybody gets a wristband like I have. If you have a wristband, you get free drinks. So drinks are on the house. They're happy to do that. So hopefully you come there. It's a huge facility. If you want to stay there, again, we have a special rate to stay there. You're seeing some of the former winners like William Hung, former American Idol star. We have some, Chip Jett, a big poker player, has won. And I actually have the history there of all the previous 16 winners. We have pictures of all of them. But it's really a fun night, great cause. We hope you can come out. If you can't play, just come out to say hello, meet the celebrities. I have guys like Lou Page who's coming in. He's in charge of Englander. I think Mark Quinn is coming in. He's over at Shiftman now. John Ratchet's coming in. So a lot of these guys can't play. They've got, dinners like you do, but they're going to stop by. They just want to, there's a lot of industry people there. They just want to say hello. And again, it's a fun, casual night, not heavy on the cause. Obviously, we touch on the cause, but it's just a fun night, and we hope we get a lot of people there. So sorry to take a little time there on the event itself, but I just want people to understand what we do. There's probably as many spectators there as there are poker players. So you can walk around the tables. There's no really limitations to what you can do. So there is security there. So no crazy things will happen. We have security there. But the people at South Point, tremendous organization. They do a great job for us. Very professional how they handle the tournament. And it's a fun night. So hopefully you can stop by.
David Grange, what a great cause, Doug. Yep. 100%.
Thank you, David. Thank you.
Hi, Pete. Been too long. Always love your interviews. Thanks, David. Appreciate you, buddy. Anybody else got anything? Questions, comments?
Actually, is RJ coming this year to the event? I can't remember what his comment was about that.
RJ, you coming? There's a little delay.
I don't know if he's still around or not, but
Chris will let us know. By the way, anybody thinking about doing a podcast, there's only one dude. It's Chris Stone, my guy. Best I've ever had by far. Not only good at what he does, well, great at what he does, but he's an absolute perfectionist, so you don't have to be. And I would never even try to do this show. If I had to do it all myself, I'd have 25, 30 hours and it would be subpar. So with Chris, it goes off without a hitch. I basically have an hour and a half in it a week. And 1 hour is this. So RJ didn't mention if he's okay, cool.
Yeah, so I read Chris's instructions again this year, like I do every year, and thought I had it all figured out. And then, of course, in the pre-show, he's like, "You're doing it wrong." So headset was wrong, whatever. So, of course, Chris straightens me out like he always does. So shout out to Chris again. Yes, I know. Someday I'll learn everything and I'll figure it all out. But
I think Doug is being falsely humble in an attempt to be funny. So what has been over the years your biggest surprise about the event? Like in terms of how did you think it was going to be and how it really was and like what the experience really is?
Well, let me start from the beginning. So now to be 17 years ago, we were downtown. I must have called 20 casinos to try and get a poker room. So I finally got a poker room down at Four Queens, I think it was, when we started. We had 27 people, raised $6,200, I think was the number. So, I started with a couple of people. Again, everybody probably doesn't know him, but Randy Kokonis was one. He has a grandson with autism. So I just started talking to a couple of people. Sure, I'll come to your tournament. And, guys like Jerry Williams and his group, they came. So, we had 27 players, raised $6,200. My goal, just to start it, was quite frankly, I think it might have been Larry Thomas at the time, was at Furniture Today. I wanted him to do at least one release, one article on my event. I just wanted to create awareness because, I had jumped into it. I actually became a very strong advocate in the state of Ohio, as well as federally, for services for kids, because there weren't a lot of services, 20 some years ago. So I wanted to create awareness in the industry about autism. So from then to today, I mean, when I sent out that release about Miss Nevada coming, I saw, I think, more articles in trade magazines or trade industry, email alerts, whatever, about Abby coming to our event than I've ever gotten press before. So it's amazing how it's sort of blossomed, and not because of me, but because of what the event has become, which is, number one, everybody is touched by autism. Number two, when you get these big name celebrities, it draws the attention of folks, whether it's in the industry, not in the industry. So, I think the city of Las Vegas is now aware, because I also had another group, Daryl and Orbit, hooked me up with a personality that's a radio personality, Heather, out in Vegas. She is now going to be running PSAs for us in Vegas on 6 different radio shows or radio stations in Vegas. So I think the biggest surprise for me is over the years, how we've acquired, different people from different industries to give us attention, to pay attention to us and pay attention to the cause. And there's still work to be done. There's plenty of things we need to do to help improve the lives of those impacted with autism, whether it's kids, adults, families, get to the root cause of it. And if there is a cure for it, or stop it from happening. So, again, Abigail's going to come help us raise awareness. And that's really what it's about. It starts with awareness. And then you have to have money to help support these charities do their thing. And for me, it's, I've gone from 27 players. Our highest number of players was 237 one year. Last year was our biggest fundraising year, raised close to 170,000. This year, I hope we beat that. But we've now raised more than $1.6 million for all our events. And, the biggest surprise is, I get these sponsors coming back year after year after year to want to help and support. And, it sort of humbles me when I get to the event every year. And I do get sort of emotional, talking about Michael and his journey and what he's been through and what Kelly and I have been through and all the parents go through. And it's just great to see other people in the same situation. And sometimes they just need to vent to somebody or talk to somebody or, listen to somebody about the cause. So for me, it's raising the bar, raising the awareness, raising more money to help more individuals and families. So for me, that's what it's all about.
So there was no dollar amount in your head when you did the first one. It was just very simple. Raise awareness in our industry about autism.
That it was that simple. Yes. Yep.
There's a lot.
So I'm still working on it.
There's a lot of power in that.
Again, that was Doug's view of the world. Is I've never heard a thing in the furniture and mattress business about autism at the time, and now I read retailers are doing things for autism on their own, which is fantastic. And this is, again, our event, and the people that want to help us with our thing, great. And people that do their own thing, great. So again, whether your cause is cancer or autism in a different way or whatever it is, I love it. I just, the whole community engagement. And since I've joined 3Z, I see more and more of what we do as a company. And it sort of warms my heart. And I talked to, my boss, Chuck Madler, who's one of our founders' brother-in-laws, what John does with our company and, with support of guys like Chuck and I guess me and others, we're able to do these things that Lisa does or Helix does or 3Z does, just like what Stu does with Bedding Industries. It's, and it's Furniture First. It's all these great companies doing these great things for their communities. And I just love it.
Anthony Klatt says, my niece is on the spectrum, so attending this event is especially meaningful. Thank you, Pete and Doug. Yeah, and that's my connection to Anthony. It's my nephew. He was undiagnosed, and unfortunately, I'm the one that first brought it to my brother's attention, and he did not respond well. And I found out that there was all kinds of resentment about my success that he unleashed in a whirlwind of about 2 to 5 minutes, which kind of left me reeling. And then sadly, my brother and his wife sent Timmy to school undiagnosed, and they sent him back, and they said, you've got to have testing done. And so this raising of awareness is huge. So many parents don't know what to look for. Yeah. They have not a clue. The only thing I knew something was wrong. I didn't know Timmy was autistic. I just knew he wouldn't engage. Most babies I could get to engage with me. I love babies. For some reason, babies love me, which makes some people think that I'm not all that bad. So this awareness is a huge piece of it. And Anthony, I'm so glad that you're able to participate. You'll love it, and you'll never not do it again. I guarantee it. One thing I want to say real quick, and I know we're running a little bit over, we talked about some retailers, and I want to talk about some of my retailers. Happy Z's, Gardner's Mattress, Cumberland Mattress, Healthy Z's, and Rock and Roll City Mattress in Cleveland. These are companies that give and give and give and give to their communities. And for those of you who own retail stores and you are not locked into your community, you really need to do that. You shouldn't do it because it's going to help you be more successful. You should do it for one reason and one reason only. It's the right thing to do. And when you do it from that standpoint, you will be blessed. Blessings will come back to you exponentially, and you're going to wonder where they're coming from. And that's just the way life works, whether you want it, believe that or not. Doug, thank you for all that you do for autism. Thank you for all that you do for our industry. You have definitely raised the bar in our industry in the last 40 years. I want to compliment you on that. In addition to what you do for autism. If somebody
Thank you for saying that. Thank you.
You're welcome. You've earned that. David Grange says community is the best connection for not only our give back and helping those who need the clarity of where to seek awareness, but is the best karma for work-life balance for sure. Thank you. Yeah, you bet, David. Somebody's watched this. They may or may not have heard about you. They may or may not have heard about your autism event. How do they get a hold of you? What's the best course of action?
Yeah, the easiest way is, and Chris has been flashing it, is go to the antiforautism.com website. I have a couple different emails. So it's really antiforautism@aol.com is the easiest way to track me down. And that's all on the website. They can contact me. They can call me on my cell at 614-554-0802. I'm happy to talk to anybody at any time. Text me, call me, email me. Wow, Chris is just on it.
He's the best. He is the best. He's the best. That's all I got to say. Doug, thank you so much. Everybody go out there and sell 1 million and give 1 million this week.